Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another round of the League Zero Super Formula Championship as we return to the British Isles this time around. In fact, for the first time this season, indeed. And it's Donington Park for another of our 2 race nights. A 10-lap sprint race followed by a 32-lap feature to come tonight. Myself, Ewan O'Leary, and Dean Biggles will bring you all the action here on the JPP YouTube channel as always. Good to be back in this series, Biggles. Good to be back alongside you. Good to have dry conditions. Everybody's going to be a little bit scarred by last week. We were just talking about it there before we came to air. It is a very, very different day here today, and they'll be glad that it is time to put the wet tyres away and bring the dries out again, because last week was very, very difficult.
Oh, you didn't see the forecast? It's going to rain. Yeah, it's coming.
Is it?
You didn't see it. Well, it's a UK weather, isn't it, mate? It doesn't always rain in your neck of the woods,
true.
but not the monsoon kind of conditions that you see. But yes, that was a bit of a crazy race, and of course, we're going through our calendar as well, too, my friend. We are practically, you'd have to say, just over halfway through the championship season. So tonight's the Lap Zero finishes, GP presented by the Lap Zero podcast. That's Norman King and Antonio Lianchi.
Yes, Antonio currently 5th. Norman King isn't here at the moment, but there you go. Good to have. Oh God, I'm looking forward to next week. How the hell do I say that?
Hockenheimring, Baden.
Well, no, not that.
What?
I don't say Hockenheimring. What's the Grand Prix name though? I'll need to.
The Super Sloppery Sauerkraut Slipstream Showdown GP at Hockenheimring. There you go. So that's
what are they trying to do to us?
Well, I mean, you know, it's in Hockenheim. I mean, I've been Oktoberfest a couple of times, and I've probably had a couple of super sloppy sauerkrauts. So, yes. Anyway,
not sure I want to hear any more about that actually. But
so tonight's obviously 10 and 32. So 10 for our sprint and 32 for our feature. Let's take a geezer over the standings at the moment. And geezer, I'm talking British now, aren't I? There you go, geese. Ponder. Yeah. Anyway, it's Elliot Cutt who's leading the way. 32 points his gap over Noddy ML. Adam Merchant just 4 points further back from ML after a great week last week. Actually, he dealt with the wet conditions at Spa better than anybody and won twice. So despite the fact he's only done 3 races, he is now 3rd. Ahead of Jaden Callaway, who had a pretty difficult evening. Elliot Rolls out the top 5 with Fabian Sanchez 6th. Big move up for Nicholas Isidro, who's into the top 10 now. Ahead of Finley Fitzsimmons, who did make a place despite having trouble. And Gonzalo Pierre-Perez and Saji Zuhair are tied on 9th place on 60 points. So Elliot Cutt holds a relatively big championship lead, but I think everybody's going to be worried about Adam Merchant, aren't they? Because he won twice last week. Mm-hmm. He seems to be in great form again, and despite the fact he's only had 3 starts, or as it says 5 there, from the season so far. Why did I say 3? I'm clearly missing a couple. But yeah, it's that's of course races. I'm talking about rounds. He's only done 3 rounds. Anyway, it's he who's in form, isn't it, Merchant? He's the defending champion as well, and 36 points is not a lot. As we learnt in last series, I think Noddy ML had a bigger championship lead that he ended up losing, of course, before the end of that season. Absolutely, he definitely one to watch charge back. Almost like a Max Verstappen kind of charge back, isn't it, the championship? So you wouldn't feel like you're safe at the moment if you're Elliot Cutt and Noddy ML. The qualifying, my friend, is all done and dusted, so it's time to ring you our grid for tonight.
And it's Adam Merchant who is on the pole again. What great form he is in. Can Finley Fitzsimmons challenge him tonight? Because he had a pretty miserable time in the rain at Spa. He is in second behind, or ahead rather, of Elliot Cutt and Elliot Rolls, who are on row 2. Fabian Sanchez and Antonio Bianchi then on row 3, ahead of James Turnbull and Chase Meyer, the first All-American row. Saji Zuhair and Noddy ML round out the top 10. Surprisingly far down for ML in 10th, ahead of Gareth McAllister and John Stumbrut, who rounds out row 6. 13th place went to Robert Nobles, ahead of Nicholas Isidro, with Guillermo Paré and Xavier Seneve on the back row of the grid. Wonder whether they are going to start this race, because they are not on the grid at the moment. They've still got a minute or so to go, though. It's going to be a very short opening race, this one. Just 10 laps here from Donington Park. It's not a very long circuit either, and so you'd expect this race to go by very quickly. And yeah, could be very telling. Will Merchant be able to get the front and dominate from here? You wonder, with Finley Fitzsimmons alongside. Going to be difficult.
It'll be the interesting. It's your neck of the woods. Since you you don't live too far, or you used to not live too far down here from this track.
Yeah,
Castle, Donington?
I've moved away in recent times, but yeah, I did live very close.
Is there a castle? I presume there is a castle. There's a castle just about everywhere in England, but...
it's true.
So waiting for Xavier, my friend, to load up right in the back, number 16th spot. Everybody else is in their grid box positions. There's tape strapped to the wall there, so they know exactly where to put the cars. That's a Formula 1 pun. And now, if you haven't heard about that, they taped to the pit wall for Lando Norris, at least, so he can look over there and know where his front wing needs to be lined up.
It's quite a good idea. But, there you go. We'll avoid F1 for the moment anyway. As the lights come on here from Donington Park, and we're ready to go. Oh, and nowhere, going nowhere, and contact already. Antonio Bianchi goes nowhere off the start. His rear right tyre is knocked out of whack, and there's already another big crash on the front straight here. John Stubbras has made contact there with Jace Meyer, I think, on the way towards turn number 1. We've got meatball flags everywhere. We've got damage everywhere. Xavier Seneve starts from the pit lane, and he'll make up 3 places immediately here as there's contact on the front straight on lap 1.
Yeah, I don't think Bianchi was a little slower to get loaded in there, but I think something happened there, something technical. Just could not get it launched off the line there, and of course it's just a concertina effect.
Oh dear. That is terrible news for Bianchi, who didn't go anywhere. It's like the race, I can't remember what round it was, but he had a round, it might have been Indianapolis, where he didn't get to turn 1 either race. Hope that doesn't happen to him tonight, as Noddy Amel makes up his 3rd place on this opening lap. He gets past Sajid Jaher there into 7th place. That was a nice move into the final chicane. But the top 5 are all exactly where they started. Adam Merchant, though, under big pressure here from Philly Fitzsimmons at the end of the opening lap. Oh, it's a big spin from Elliott Court, who might have just grabbed the grass there on the way to the final corner. The championship leader goes into a spin at the final corner.
Well, it's got to get the pace up at the moment, isn't it? Because it's being such, as you said, relatively short laps, just 10 of them. It's not a lot of time, as we're seeing Elliott Court and Paret. It is. Sorry, a little bit off that one for the Argentine driver. He's just trying to...
Paret alongside him. Elliott Court will be dispatched as well. So Paret through, and the championship leader is down to 10th position. At the very least, in this first race, he's going to have to hope to get into the top 5 again, but even that might be a bit difficult here. You can see some of the gaps stretching out in front. You know, he can't exactly see the top 5 stretching out in front of him. Court is a long way back at the moment and going to have to do well to get back into that top 5. Paret a little bit loose over the top of the hill there, just coming out of Coppice. Now on the way down the hill towards the chicane. He's not going to be close enough. This could be pretty difficult. This could be a difficult race for Elliott Court, as he now gets a good run off of the chicane down into the Melbourne hairpin. He's on the inside line, and he is going to be moving up a place by the looks of things on a very tight line. He does move into 9th position.
The fight back now comes for the Brit there of Elliott Court in his home track. He's got the audience there cheering him on, no doubt. Here's Noddy, mate, already up 4 places currently at the moment, and he's looking on the back there of James Turnbull's 203 machine, see if he can make this number 5 for the games.
Yeah, he's looking good so far as Noddy Amel actually in the race compared to qualifying. Just wonder whether it's been one of those sessions for him where he struggled to actually get going, really. Struggled to find the track space. It's an open session, of course, so around a tight circuit like this one, a small circuit, it's very possible, as he has a look down the inside of Turnbull there on the run up the hill towards Coppice. He's just looking in the mirrors there, Turnbull. He must have been, as Noddy Amel gets on the button for the first time tonight. He closes in on the way towards the S's. Only a short burst on the button. Of course, there's not many long straights around here, so difficult to actually use up 200 seconds in a 10-lap race. He's almost too quick through the chicane, climbing all over the back of Turnbull now as he comes into the hairpin. He brakes late on the inside line. He brakes too late, though, and up and under from Turnbull. He's onto the outside coming into the final corner. Noddy Amel will hold the inside again now as he holds on to 5th position, his newly found 5th position, and it is his, or is it? Turnbull still on the outside, still alongside as they come over the line to complete lap 3.
Still bumping wheels there a couple of times as well too, so he's got to move once under braking, as Noddy does. Eventually gets the job done there. Elliott Court now looking to make a move there on Nicholas, who's up 6. Elliott down 6 on this one. On as I said, on a charge back at the moment, halfway through almost our first heat race. He's got damage limitations. Get himself in that reverse top 5. That's what you want for the start of our feature race.
Yeah, that's the amount that is reversed on an evening here in the League Zero Silver Formula Championship, and Elliott Court is feeling like a long way away from that at the moment. He got past Paré, of course, but now Nicholas Isidro, and what a run it is from Court as well. He's in the cool-down period with the push to pass, so he can't actually use any on the back straight here, although Isidro might give this to him. No, he was shaping like he was going to, actually, into the S's. That will only frustrate Elliott Court further here as he's stuck behind the 8th place man and wasn't given the position. It, has no right to be given the place, I suppose, but he would have found it nice if Isidro had let him through on the inside there.
Yeah, one of the closest battles at the moment. We'll just keep an eye on you. You can see Merchant pumping in some fast laps. And Fitzy says, okay, I'm keeping up with you, mate. We're going to bring it here. England versus USA for the front 2 positions. Elliott rolls for the Scotsman up into the 3rd position, up 1 game now with Sanchez lurking in there in the P4. But see whether or not you think it's only a matter of time before Court will disperse there of Nicholas, and that is job done. The DDK TH Jordan team driver up into P8. Got a bit of work to do to catch the rest of them if he wants to get that reverse grid.
Yeah, he certainly does. There is Merchant versus Fitzsimmons, though. Merchant goes a little bit wide there over the top of the hill. Here comes Fitzsimmons. He sees the opportunity immediately here and gets onto the button into the chicane. Oh, he's on the outside for the first bit. Inside the second, and he's not been given the space, I don't think, there. I don't think he was given the space. And Fitzsimmons will have to go on the slowdown. Merchant will keep the lead. But what is Fitzsimmons going to think about that? Because it's a hard place to go side by side. Of course it is, but I'm not sure Merchant really made any effort there to give the space to the man on the outside.
We'll see if we can get back and have a replay in a minute. If we get a chance, we'll also want to see that race start, to see the absolute bogged down machine there that caused a bit of a pile up. As you can see now, we've got Sergey putting some pressure there on James. He's thinking about trying to get an overtake, what Noddy did a little bit earlier as well too. You can see. You'd have to guess, obviously, down the end of the hairpin's also been a great overtaking opportunity, not advertising opportunity.
Down the hill. It looks like it's all just settling down back here. Settling down at the front of the field. Fitzsimmons is off and he's gone wide again now, so the gap over a second there. And Merchant is running away. I think that incident we just saw there is going to define this race perhaps for the front of the field.
Have a quick look at what happened at the start here.
Yeah, he just doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it's got the look to me of a driver who actually didn't realise the lights were coming on there, was sort of looking somewhere else and doing something else. And as they had that commotion on the left-hand side, McAllister got slammed into. He spun across the road and made contact there with, that's either Stumbrad or Jace Meyer, who both had big trouble here on the opening lap of the race as well. It is John Stumbrad. Yeah.
There. Anyway, back to live pitches, because we don't want to miss all the action, as we're still seeing that nice little battle brewing on your pitches there for P6 realistically. And it looks like the Argentine driver too has gone off the track somewhere. He's gone a little bit slow. He's way off the track.
He's off again.
At the moment. Something may have snapped.
He's certainly struggling. And Soneva will get through into 11th, so Guillermo Paré will be the last running driver who hasn't pitted in this race. 3/4 of the field who have evaded pit lane so far, as Turnbull continues to lead this battle for 6th position in front of Zuhair. Caught 2 seconds back, and I think for all intents and purposes now is not going to be getting into the reverse grid for race 2, and could be seeing his main championship rival, I think we can call him now, Adam Merchant, winning this first race tonight. Here comes Zuhair down the inside of James Turnbull into the Melbourne hairpin. That's easy as you like. You can squeeze a little bit more there, by the way, Turnbull. If you're on the outside there, you don't have to give quite so much room, but if you do, then Zuhair can get through a little bit more easily. And he did there into 6th position. And now applies the pressure to Fabian Sanchez as well for 4th place as he tries to continue his run through the field.
Wide. It's off on the kitty letter there. Noddy, biggest gainer in this current heat race as well too, up 5, putting pressure. But do you really want to? I mean, obviously points are points, aren't they, at the end of the day, but only with a couple of laps to go. I'm going to settle in that P5. That's going to give yourself that nice pole position for the feature race.
Yeah. It's not a bad place to be, I suppose, but again, we've seen titles settled by very few points in the past, and Mel's going to want every point he can possibly get at the moment, because he's going to drop to 3rd in the championship no matter what happens tonight so far. with Merchant currently leading the race. Jaden Callaway not being... Oh, he has a big slide there out of the S's. Jaden Callaway not being here, by the way, will just give the front three a bit of cushioning. And I think we are looking at the front three who are going to fight over the rest of this championship season, because there are only 4 races after this one. Hockenheim, Montreal, Suzuka and Watkins Glen. So 3 Grand Prix circuits coming up next, followed by Watkins Glen to round out the season on December 4th, just after Thanksgiving, which is coming up on the penultimate week of the season. So a lot to look forward to for the remainder of the year. 2 laps to go, and Nottingham L puts his push to pass on. In fact, he's gone a bit late if he wants to use it for the rest of the race, because there's only about 2 minutes left of the race, and he's got 3 minutes.
Oh,
of
it's
push to
bumpy
pass
out of the
remaining.
corner. Wow.
And he goes straight through on Sanchez. Oh, he goes wide, but he will go through into 4th position.
Yeah, finally. Exactly, there it is. Wow. I mean, just using that push to pass now, I mean, once again, they're saving it. I mean, it doesn't roll over into the next race, gentlemen. I think they were all aware of this. We've been through this a few times now, haven't we? We've discussed this, like why these drivers electing just to keep all that push to pass there available for a situation where you've got no time left.
Yeah, I understand a bit more here, because it's so difficult to actually use it up round here, because the cool down period is way longer than the period of 1 lap here, which always makes it a bit tricky. And, you know, the straights are just not very long, so I can understand it here. But for these 2 up front, it looks like they have done the same as usual. I mean, Elliot Rolls is not using it at all, sees it as pretty worthless, and I can't blame it particularly. You know, of course, when you've got that extra power, it makes it more difficult on traction as well. So you could argue that it's not as simple as just putting on for the remainder of the race like you see normally. It's actually quite difficult in the slower speed corners to manage the push to pass when you've got it turned on.
Didn't we say something about adding a little element into it so they get a couple of additional points? So for every 10 seconds of boost or something you have remaining at the end of the race, and you can get like a point or something like that. That'd be interesting. It'll elect the drivers that don't use any of it and actually get some additional points. Anyway, cutting straight through the bollards, don't worry about them. Straight over my GoPro camera, don't worry about that. As Adam Merchant chased down there by Fitzsimmons. Round the hairpin.
He's going to hold on, is Merchant. Hold on once again. And he's not done very many races this season, Merchant, but he's about to take his 5th win out of the final corner. And he wins race 1 here in the Lap Zero Finishes Grand Prix, presented by the Lap Zero podcast. It is Adam Merchant who wins with the fastest lap to go at the end as well. The bonus points are with it. Court is trying to get as far as he can, but he can't get 6th, I don't think. A run to the line. Zuhair will just beat him. He got past Turnbull there, did Court at least, but he couldn't quite get past Zuhair. And so Court will start 7th. Merchant will start 5th in this next race. And Mel will start in 2nd place, the best of our 3 championship contenders. But it's Merchant, though, who takes those points out of the first race better than the rest.
Oh, that was earlier. See what the Argentino just got out of the hairpin there. Oh, is there somebody else spinning as well too? Quite see.
Oh dear, he's having real trouble. Well, I think that was just a bit of a heavy right foot and some warm tyres there, to be honest, at the end. But there you go. Adam Merchant wins the first race of the day by about a second in front of Finley Fitzsimmons. Elliot Rolls on his own throughout that race, finishes 3rd ahead of Nottingham L, with Fabian Sanchez running at the top 5. Saji Zuhair just outside of that invert, with Elliot Court, the championship leader, dropping points again in 7th. James Turnbull, Nicholas Isdro and Robert Nobles round out the top 10. A lap down for Gareth McAllister, who recovered from his issues. Xavier Seneb and Guillermo Paré retired 4 laps from the finish, with Jason Meyer, Antonio Bianchi and John Strumborough involved in those opening lap skirmishes. Unfortunately, they retired as a result of that one down the field. So Merchant draws first blood in the first race of the day, and Court loses points again. He'll still have the championship lead, but it's going to get to a bit of a concern for Elliot Court now, because he only picked up 10 points from Spa last week. Now, yes, that is going to be taken as a drop round, but nevertheless, if Merchant continues on this form, he can't afford those kind of rounds. Yeah,
he can't. No, not at all. We do have from the chat out there too of JT. He's like, man, I'm out of the top 10 at the moment. JT Smeet, and he can see him put 13th at the moment. That's only because he just hasn't been here. Presumably can't make it again here tonight. But he's making it in the chat with us. And of course, we got Ricky Espino, who's Vamos as well too, saying it was a very chaotic start, which it is. Will it be a chaotic start for our feature race now? Because the drivers tend to, you would say, Ewan, know that it's a longer race there and you don't want to risk it for the biscuit and just so early in a short 10-lap sprint.
Yeah, that is all true, but I remember back to, and now admittedly the field at Indianapolis was nearly twice the size and it's a very narrow pit straight, and it was, over a month ago now, but it was a race where there were two big incidents off the start of both races on that particular occasion, race 1 and 2 back at Indy. So just wonder whether that is going to happen again here, and whether we could see more chaos at the beginning, or whether, as you say, it is just going to calm down a little bit for this second race of the day. I personally think it's more likely to calm down actually with the field that we've got, but there's going to be some guys towards the back end of the midfield who are going to know and want to come through the field here, because they have been put behind by this first race, and they're going to want to make up in race 2. So you're going to have to very much keep your wits about you in turn 1, because it's a sharper than 90-degree right-hander at Redgate, and it can very often cause trouble down there.
Yeah, almost roll back onto yourself, isn't it? Similar to Holcomb High and a few other tracks as well too that had that. I'll show everybody out there, if you're not familiar, the track map just for a second. That we pop it up there on the screen. And that's what we're talking about, no doubt. You know all the corner names. Well, you should. It's your neck of the woods.
Well, I've got the map in front of me, to be fair. I can never... I don't actually know these corner names very well, I must admit. I know it, I used to live near it, but it's not... I've been quite often as well, but I don't often know the corner names very well. Generally, I pick up corner names from watching broadcasts around here, and I've got to say, I don't see very many broadcasts from Donington Park, because frankly, there are not very many international motor racing series that actually come here, unless you're into motorbikes, which I'm not really. But yeah, it's not really an international circuit unless it's World Superbikes, which again is not even the top of the world of motorbike racing, is it? So there you go.
We got a question out there in the chat from JT. Oh, it's an interesting one. I don't know if you want to answer that one there, Ewan. if Jaden Calloway is washed.
Yeah, well, he's not here to defend himself, in fairness. Which makes that difficult. Having said that, he has scored 5 points in the last 2 rounds.
Yes.
So make of that what you will. That's 5 points in 3 races.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will.
He's washed like Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton.
You mean the current Formula 1 World Championship leader?
Yeah. It's all right. Oscar's just playing with his food to make it a little bit more exciting. He already knows he's going to be holding the trophy at the end of the season. Or then again, as we said, like Max Verstappen could just come out of the woodworks there and just beat both of them and get another championship. Never.
I hope not.
No, I think
that's the thing I want.
That's one thing we can agree on, isn't it? We both hope.
Yes. Yes. To be fair, I'm not even, until you brought in the whole Australia versus England thing, I never really cared, actually. but now you put it like that, yeah, I you never
JT,
want to see the
who would you
win.
like it to win it out there? Anybody in the chat, Ricky, anybody else listening, post who you would like to win the Formula 1 championship. You've got 3 to choose from, really, at that point. At this point now, anyway. It's pretty much impossible.
More neutral opinion. Well, maybe they're not neutrals, maybe they're fans of drivers as well. But there you go. This is how we'll start race number 2. And Fabian Sanchez, with a great top 5 there in that first race, is going to be on the pole. Alongside, that's Fabian Sanchez, by the way, 6th top 5 of the season. He'll be alongside Nadia Emel, with Elliot Rolls, Finney Fitzsimmons and Adam Merchant involved in the rest of the inverted top 5. The rest of them are on the grid already, so we'll let the rest of it scroll through down to the bottom. And we'll get underway in a moment. Tony Silva deciding again to start from pit lane. Is that the right call? It was last race. Let's see what the carnage is like on the front straight. Well, they all get away cleanly this time at least, but there's 3 wide looking down the inside on the way towards turn number 1 here. Nadia Mel immediately to the lead. He gets past Sanchez, who's into second. Elliot Rolls third. Fitzsimmons maintains 4th, and Adam Merchant unable to make up any places through turn 1 this time round, as they all come single file down through the Carrera curves and into the old hairpin for the first time. It's a clean start this time for race 2.
Very good, very good, very good for the drivers. There's some teammates going for it too. For now, contact. Oh!
Oh, Fitzsimmons again.
Yes. First rule of your teammates. Don't take your teammates out. And then again, don't go talk to Lando Norris about that. But anyway, we'll get off that subject
Stop
and
it.
back onto this.
Here comes, a look from Court and rolls into the chicane. That is a big move as Elliot Court comes through on Rolls and Merchant slipping into third. Isidro and Zuhaira queuing in behind. Merchant there very aggressive on his way through the hairpin, and there's contact with Court again. Oh, Elliot Court is back into the midfield again here. He's starting in front of Merchant and he's again behind his big championship rival. Elliot Court down to 8th place now.
He's trying to hold it too. You can see the absolute wheel spin coming out of the corner there, but he managed to still keep it on the important tarmac, and that's crucial. Just seeing some awesome battling at the back there as well too. We got Jace Meyer, Lianchi, James. It's all two for now. Early days in this race. Of course, Noddy's up the road there by about a second at the moment there. Ewan.
It's big gaps up front, isn't it? But with Merchant there, you'd expect him to be able to run some of those down. Fitzsimmons, by the way, as he drops to 15th place, has just had a miserable season. He's won one race, but he's never on one evening scored more than 17 points in one go. That biggest score, by the way, was at the Mexican Grand Prix race when we did the new track for round 5. Imola we did for round 5. Sorry, we did Mexico the week before, but it was Mexico where he did that best score of the season. He only got 1 point from Mexico, actually, did Fitzsimmons. It's just been a miserable season. This group behind is the one he's trying to catch up to, and if they continue on like this, it might not take him that long to catch up, as Bianchi gets through on Turnbull, up into 9th place, looking to make amends for that first race.
Wouldn't count him out, absolutely not. There's still time in this race. Merchant gets the fastest lap on lap 3. Yeah, with pit stops as well too. You never know what can happen with a whole bunch of rain coming around the corner as well too. That's not going to happen, but we're going to see Sajay put some pressure there on Nicholas. It's going to be quite an interesting shucking the machines around. Now it's the time also to have a little bit of management, obviously, on your overtake button there, Ewan, because you do want to have something in the tank later on, as you want to defend against a late attack. Whoa!
Oh no! Meyer, McAllister and Turnbull in a big smash up through McLean's. That is really unfortunate. There's front wings bobbling over the circuit. It's quite funny how they bounce up and down like trampolines there, but meantime Isidro keeps fit for Headers Hair, who really has to slow down. And Nobles is going to come through here. Elliot Court on the scene too. Oh, we've got a caution.
We've got a caution.
This is exceptionally unusual.
Yeah. We have a caution on the speedway. Well, it's not a speedway, but we have caution on the track. And that's, well, we don't have cautions very often, my friend. So this is going to re-rack and restack them, sort it out. What a driver's going to do. Anybody going to head down a pit road? No fast repairs, but you can chip out any damage. There it is. The iRacing.
Well, I never.
Yeah. Didn't even know we had cautions in the series, mate.
No. Have we ever seen this before even? I mean, I'm not sure we have.
It's not a manual
in our
driver.
time doing the series.
That's Barney. Well, but it's not Barney, isn't it? It's the other guy that's Fred. Fred's the pace car driver. Gives us a chance to go back and have a look at what happened here to Fitzsimmons.
Yes, let's just have a brief look at this. I'll read out the regulations, by the way, on safety cars, but just gets clipped a little bit and out wide again, and it's just a continuation of a miserable season, as I say, for Finley Fitzsimmons, which is a real shame for him. He brings a load of dirt back onto the racetrack and gets back going again. Guillermo Parry, out of turn 1, goes into the grass and just a little bit wide from him. He was able to continue on. He's still running 11th, by the way, in live pictures under this safety car. Just while we're showing these, I'll just read to you the regulations, the conditions, as we'll see this incident for Turnbull and Meyer and McAllister. The first driver able to avoid, but the second driver not. And there you go. That's how it all unfolded. So, at the discretion of race stewards, a safety car can be deployed in situations where it's deemed unsafe for drivers to pass an incident, including partial or full track blockages, car stops on the racing line, or any of those kind of things. drivers catch the cue when it's deployed, and restarts will be happening in a single file rolling restart, with lap cars staying where they are. Now, Gareth McAllister retiring there in a spectacular way.
Yeah.
So we don't have any lap cars, but if there were any, they would hold their position in the train. So yeah, McAllister giving up the ghost, as it were. If pitting under safety car conditions, drivers are not allowed to hold up or slow down on the way in to hold up anybody else, because it causes incidents. But other than that, every other rule is very normal. Yeah, I'm not sure what conditions would have been satisfied by bringing this safety car out. But
did they throw it manually?
It must have been manual. Yeah, it must have been manual. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Maybe if any of the drivers are out there and can quickly pop in the chat, or if they're friends or family, or they get their pet to chat something in there. JT saying out there, you think Jaden heard statements about him and decided to drive that safety car at the moment?
I didn't say anything about Jaden. I just pointed out he scored 5 points in the last 3 races. I'm not saying anything.
Well, if you didn't think those first couple of laps weren't exciting enough, we've got to do it all over again, mate, because you're going to try to get that temperature back in the tyres, as you can see. Nutty just weaving in. He would have been like, darn it, he had a 1.5 second gap and a couple of laps into this feature race, and now that's all neglected. But we are seeing some drivers in pit road, including Fitzsimmons. So
yeah, you would if you're Fitzsimmons, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he's really towards the back, and don't forget there is a mandatory tyre change in these races. So I didn't see him go up on the jacks there, but anyway, there was normal length pit stops of 4 and 8 seconds. Fitzsimmons out in front, and if Fitzsimmons doesn't have to stop again, I'm not sure whether pit stops under safety car count, but if he doesn't have to stop again, then it would be a real advantage.
Yeah, is that in the rules there about the pit stops under safety car? Because Parry did go up on the jacks. It was 8 seconds stationary. Fitzy was only 4, and as you can see in the pictures, it didn't look like he went up on the jacks at all. So no refueling. Just wonder why you just stop in there to say, okay, pit stop done. Surely you take boots on, because you're going to catch the rest of the snake anyway, as they have already done.
Yeah, I can't see anything that says it wouldn't count under the safety car. Based on JT's reaction to the safety car coming out as well, it suggests that it's never really happened in this series, at least not while he's been here. So I'm not sure any of us are really clued up as to what's going to happen here in the rest of this race. But there's 27 laps to go, and that's not unreasonable for someone to do the remainder of that on one set of tyres, because we've seen early stops in the past in this series, and this may just be another one of those from Fitzsimmons. And I say it really will work out if he can get through the field quite efficiently here. He'll be making up a lot of time if the rest of them have to stop under green.
Yeah, very interesting. We saw that the tyres didn't look too bad after 10 lap sprint. That's for sure. Because we had a couple of people going a little off the track excursions, of course, and kicking up kitty litter and then making it a little bit slippery for them. But aside from that, the drivers were pretty much glued to the track. Okay, that's 10 laps. Of course, we're 32 into this main race, but remember we now had 2 laps under a safety car, so you just neglect that's not going to chew through your tyres.
No, it will be 27 laps under green for Fitzsimmons on those, and that's why they're doing the most vigorous weaving in the background, by the way, because the track temperature is not too warm, or not too cold rather. 35 degrees Celsius, pretty warm actually. So the drivers who were out there on those tyres before don't actually need to do very much warming up. They'll do a little bit now in the final sector, but look at them in the background, really much more vigorously warming up from Fitzsimmons there, because they are coming out cold from the pit lane. So Fitzsimmons in an interesting position here to try and win this race. I wonder if he can turn it round finally, turn his season round. It would certainly be his best point score of the year, or of the season rather, even if it's not exactly going to be a championship season for him. Let's see what happens here on this restart then, shall we? As the safety car pulls in, Nottingham L's not going to do any tricks, I don't think. Maybe a little bit. Pulls towards the pit lane before getting going, and there's a bit of a stuck up in the background. Parry spins in the background as side by side for third. Here comes Elliot Rolls on the outside of Sanchez, and he is not going to go around there. Here comes Nicholas Isidro. He can't get through either. Robert Nobles is just a little bit further behind because Saji Zuhair is alongside him, and Elliot Court is in there as well. Down the hill they go. Single file they go as well on this restart. Fitzsimmons, look for him to be working through the field as best he can on those new tyres in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a saint for him, essentially, in this race, to have everybody bunched up so he can start slicing and dicing his way through the field. And if obviously he's taken that pit stop already, then he's going to be smiling. Whoa!
Oh,
Rob Nobles won't be. Okay,
that's a strange spin. The angle he was going at there through that section of the corner is really weird. But he gets back on at least as through goes Elliot Rolls finally on Fabian Sanchez. That's why you can see so much time being lost here. 2 seconds it is, as Bianchi also tries to get past Elliot Court, the championship leader, still embedded in the mid-pack tonight.
And Fitzsimmons, it looks like, also made an overtake on Jace Meyer. Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. Whoa! Bit argy-bargy happening out there, bit of door banging. Elliot Court goes in the pit lane.
Well, it's puzzling why he didn't do that under the safety car, really, but now you can see the time loss because Fitzsimmons is miles out in front of him. Oh, close through turn number 1, through Redgate for Fitzsimmons. This is what could undo him in this race. If the front guys run long and he ends up spending ages stuck in traffic, it could be the end of Fitzsimmons' chances as he forces Jace Meyer off, not by running him off the road, but just by getting into his head, and so he's up to 9th place.
Exactly. Take that any day of the week. But that's what you got to do as a racing driver, don't you? You've just got to get up to the exhaust of the previous car there and just apply the pressure. What a overspeed moment twice there for our Canadian boss man. And I could say, if he's going to sit there and watch this overtake up the road there.
Oh, contact! Isidro off as he tried to turn in even behind Zuhair, or indeed squeeze him as tightly as possible. He couldn't actually do it. And in the end, he loses places.
Another place.
Fitzsimmons goes past. John Stumbrush goes through as well.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons is now on the back there of John. And that's going to be very interesting because he was going to be on the back of that other battle up the road. This one in no time flat. There he is in the background. A couple of cars back.
Here comes Bianchi.
It's wide.
Outside, and no way through for the moment. He's going to get into the slipstream here of Saji Zuhair down the hill through the corner curves, and not quite have a chance on the way towards the old hairpin. Wasn't that far away. Stumbrak goes well off. Fitzsimmons for the second lap in a row. He sort of gets into somebody's head and forces them off through the old hairpin.
Also, Merchant and Noddy at the front here. Merchant's up 4 places. We did say about this fine form that our the car with the number 1 from the USA is at the moment, and he is flying at the moment. And Noddy's got to try to keep him. Oh, that's deep.
Dear me. That was just a little bit too wide for ML here, but Fitzsimmons is on the charge. Down the inside of Bianchi this time, who switches back, and that's the best form of defence through the Melbourne hairpin, I think, when you've got someone steaming down your inside. There goes Fitzsimmons on the response. He's still there, and he is going to see him off through the final corner. He's into 6th. Oh, and Bianchi actually backed out there because he wanted to come in pit lane.
Yeah. Still puzzled as to why these drivers didn't elect to go down there during the caution. They've only come in a lap, or at least 1 or 2 laps after. So it's not like they stretched the stint out.
Yes, weird, isn't it? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't come in under that caution, unless of course, as we've been sort of preparing ourselves for. I do wonder whether it actually counts as Nicholas Isidro goes for a spin now through McLean's through turn 7. He'll rejoin, but not before Nobles gets through as well, and he drops to 10th.
And here comes Fitzsimmons. Next up on his hit list is Sajay for the Arrive and Drive Racing number 10.
He is very close in behind Fitzsimmons. Good line through the Melbourne hairpin though from Zuhair, who stays in 5th for the moment. Just up 1 place on the 6th position in which he started this race. one could say that Fitzsimmons is that position.
yeah.
And again, as soon as he gets up behind them, they come into pit lanes. Zuhair's the latest to do that. Just on the other side of that caution coming in. Only 9 laps complete before he comes in now.
And what's interesting, they're probably just doing that, of course, to make sure you just try to slow the drivers down as much as possible that are charging behind you, because eventually you might be resuming that battle after those pit stops are done and dusted. If Fitzsimmons, of course, has to come back in again.
Yeah, as you say, even if he does, then he's actually advancing himself to a decent position here. But whether he's going to win this race, unless he has to, unless he can go to the end, I don't think he's going to win this race with Adam Merchant out front, and I don't think he's going to get to Nottingham L either. But that may not concern him too much. Elliott Court is still down the back end of the field, by the way. Those who have pitted early after the caution are starting to trip over themselves. Zuhair, Bianchi and Court all at the back. And look at this. Championship leader at the very back of the field after scoring only 10 points last week. I don't think he's scoring very many more than that right now.
Let's have a look at Robert. This is that weird crash that we saw, wasn't it, with Robert?
Well, weird from the angle that I saw it, but that makes a lot more sense now when it's you see it snap one way and then the other. He just tries to catch it here, but it's so difficult to do that when it gets to that sort of degree of sliding, and then secondary made difficult by the fact that he got a bit of grass as well, so it was hopeless really. That was carried on though, and he's now up to 8th place.
These are the drivers that have already been down pit road. Oh, that's wide from Antonio, and he's going to give that position to Elliott Court. And just up the road there is Sajay. So they've done their pit stops. You're going to go up to Parrott as well too. He's taken his pit stop. He's currently running in P10. But it's quite interesting, the difference between the drivers, isn't it? Because remember, he came out ahead of Fitzsimmons when he took that pit stop on lap 4 under the safety car. He's in P10, whereas Fitzsimmons, that was behind him, is now in P5 after they started at the back of the pack and we went green again.
Personal best from Nottingham L last time round, although it still wasn't as quick as Adam Merchant out front. These are the guys who are effectively racing with those guys, because I reckon these guys are not actually far off a net podium who are battling down here. So maybe not actually these two, because there are some others further up ahead, like Parry and Fitzsimmons. But if they are going to continue on like this, then maybe they're an outside shot for a podium, with Elliot Rolls currently sat in that 3rd place as well. On board with Elliott Court here, you can see what you can't see with the halo up above. Always looks very distracting, doesn't it, from the spectator's point of view, but when you actually drive with a halo machine, you actually realise that very rarely in a race car are you looking dead ahead of you, so it really doesn't get in the way as much as you'd think.
Yeah, drivers of VR as well too would it doesn't even really get in the way of them. Drivers can turn that into a little invisible halo. It's still there, has a little outline of it, but I haven't, because I never drive. It just reminds me one time I should actually go in there and actually just disable it like the drivers do, because I don't know any drivers that actually do leave it on.
Yeah, it's a thing, I suppose, that sim racing has the advantage of, that you can get rid of it. I must say I wasn't a fan of the halo idea. I much preferred the aero screen idea back
I
when
was
these
the
things were being introduced 8 years ago.
As well. Yeah, but whoa, who's off the track there?
Parry,
yeah. So that's going to put him under massive pressure from these two that are coming pretty far. Well, Sajay, who's arriving at a rapid pace, and he's also driving at a rapid pace as well. It's sort of arrive and drive racing entrance. I'm always going to throw those puns out every time I see him. Yeah, the aero screen. I was a fan of that one. But then you know who wasn't a fan of the Halo, which saved his life, obviously. Bahrain. I think it was with Qatar.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I mean, me included, I think a lot of people have been proved wrong about the Halo, to be fair. Although I do feel like it gets credit for crashes that would have been safe anyway, but also it has undoubtedly saved people's lives, so we can't really moan about that. Of course, it's...
But the one thing it wouldn't have saved, potentially, that when Massa got hit in the helmet, that spring, that time. I don't think possibly the halo.
Well, maybe it would have.
Might have reflected off the halo, but that's where the aero screen comes into play. That would have reflected it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why as well I would prefer the aero screen. Also because it looks better. I think it's more effective too. But there you go. I'm not going to argue with science because I don't know anything else. I don't know anything about it. So there we go. Elliot Court still on the back of Zuhair and Parry here, who are battling for 10th place effectively. Parry having already been in under that caution, and we're fast approaching half distance now. A good exit from Zuhair, not bad anyway. Court not too far behind, and further up front, Stunbrat and Meyer also fight away. Plenty of fights here, and Meyer trying to use some of his push to pass as well.
Yeah, you want to get it down to about halfway, considering we're about getting close to halfway through this race. 19 laps remaining, 14 down. So that's the target. You want to watch completely different racing lines you can see there from Jace Meyer. Elliot Rolls gets a slow down up the road. Sanchez is, give or take, just shy of 2 seconds, so it might bring him down to 1.5, depending on where you're going to serve that slow down.
It's one of those circuits, Donington, where you don't want to use it all on one straight like we've seen for the previous weeks at the likes of Spa, for example, but you want to sort of put it on for a while. And as you say, we're getting towards the halfway point in the race now, so using your first 100 seconds or so is not the worst idea at all, but very difficult to do that when you're in a group like this. Elliot Court still stuck behind Zuhair and Parry. And Parry spins. And Bianchi very nearly follows him. Big save from Bianchi, but Parry with the exact same spin as what undid him in race 1, and he retires.
Oh, now that's unfortunate, isn't it? Maybe he just had enough, because he's had a couple of those little spins here this evening and just thought, enough. Could be a frustration, just could be like, I just can't drive it. Can be undrivable for some of the drivers. I don't know. It is unfortunate.
Well, that is a shame.
Only
one driver now left for us to find out whether that strategy is going to work, and that's Fitzsimmons, who's now on the back of Fede and Sanchez and going through.
Yeah, it looks like Sanchez just let him through.
Yeah, it did.
Didn't put up too much of a fight on that one.
Not sure why he would let him through like that, to be honest with you, but he did. And Meyer continues to apply his pressure on Stunbrat. There was a moment there where he thought, and I did as well, into the Melbourne hairpin, that he was going to career into the back of the driver in front of him, but he locked it down and he made sure he didn't do that. And John Stunbrat able to keep 6th place ahead of Jace Meyer for the moment. Big gap creating in front of them though.
Also got Elliot Court right on the back there of Sarjay, so they're going for that. He's going to be very close. That might be the closest overtake. All right. Come on, Elliot, get your overtake done soon. We've got other cameras to switch over to other drivers, all right? We're choreographed. Remember, we went through this in the racing drivers briefing room.
Here we go. It's tight on the inside. And Zuhair doesn't give him much room, but just enough. Just enough respectful racing room there through turn 1. Down the hill they come. Elliot Court, the championship leader, looking to mitigate the damage for the second week in a row. There's side-to-side contact, and Sazi Zuhair goes off through the old hairpin.
Tell you what, they're certainly leaving no stone unturned in this race, aren't they? A lot of these drivers. We have seen some clean overtakes. When we get some little elbows out argy-barginess as well. That's what we like to see up here. It's entertainment for us. Also, remember to give us a nice like and subscribe if you are enjoying this race, because it is way better than what JT thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't expect too much good racing around here at Donington. I must say I was kind of the same, but I mean, these super formulas are so difficult on some of these smaller circuits that difficult circuits sometimes provide good racing as well, somewhat surprisingly. So I think it's one of those ones where it's not an easy circuit to drive, and therefore the racing seems to be a little bit better because everyone's a little bit uncomfortable. That's certainly the way it's seemed to be tonight, but I can't blame you for thinking that the racing was going to be a little bit more difficult tonight, because just look at this circuit. It's not entirely built for the modern day open wheeler like this.
No, not at all. Not at all. Remember, these cars are pretty not too shy from a Formula 1 pace, essentially. Well, they're pretty closely. Whoa, that's another snap of an overseer save. We've seen that actually from Blanchy, didn't we, a couple of times before? But what are these similar to F2 pace you'd put? I think we spoke about this before.
I think faster
than F2s, yeah. So second fastest only to Formula 1, and that goes to show you how quick these damn things are.
I think in the hierarchy of categories of car, you've got Formula 1, obviously, the old LMP ones from about 8 years ago, and then you've got these in front of F2s. Oh, that's a big dive and a crash. It would have been a crash if John Stunbrat had held his line, but Jace Meyer has rather scared him off the road there through the final corner.
And Merchant also got a slowdown, so he's gone off somewhere, and that's going to bring Noddy back into play here. Down to 1.6.
Yeah, Coppice would have been. As you're going over the top of the hill there, you can't actually see what you're aiming for, which is quite hard when you're going for a corner like that. You're going uphill so steeply that you can't actually see the apex that you're aiming for, and so Merchant does get a slow down and loses about half a second, although I'm sure he'll have that gap back out to 2 seconds in no time.
Still have to go down to pit lane for those drivers. And look at the pit laps that these drivers have been on, the ones that have been in. As you can see at lap 4, lap 6, lap 9, lap 14. The drivers that are remaining in this race. Elliot Rolls comes in.
Rolls.
He's the cameraman. That's why you don't see it now televised on TV much. There's only one guy here in the whole track.
Yeah.
Yeah. UK wages are too high these days. I can't afford to get these drivers out there.
I think people might disagree with you about that. Eddie Rolls, meanwhile, comes up the pit lane and just through. Jason Meyer goes through into 5th position. So just about, but obviously there's different pit strategies there. Isidro and Courts, meanwhile, side by side, and Isidro hasn't been in yet, so this is the sort of traffic Court was trying to avoid, and to be fair, it hasn't slowed him down too much this time. He's into 9th, but Elliot Rolls getting so far in front of him there will be a bit of a concern, because he would have been hoping to be around those guys in the top 3, top 5 kind of area.
You'd have to say, there's your gap currently to your leader down through the rest of the field there. So Noddy's at 2.2 and change down the road there. But Fitzsimmons is 12, fastest lap just set by Merchant. Maybe he's realising he's got this hurry-up call that Fitzsimmons, and with a pit stop time around here that's judging around about 25 seconds overall, that's coming in your pit stall waiting and exiting. Yeah, well, Fitzsimmons will have him.
Looks like it for now. I mean, he's not quicker than Merchant or Amel, though,
No.
is the thing for Fitzsimmons. Jason Meyer comes in now. So you just wonder whether Merchant's actually going to still be able to run him down in this final part of the race as Meyer goes up onto the jacks. The only other concern I've got, by the way, is that I didn't see Fitzsimmons onto the jacks when he came in under that caution,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
concerns me that he hasn't actually changed his tyres.
And what can he do at this point? You just keep going? Go as deep as you can in this race? Whoa! Go off-road rallying? He's close at these times. So it's a 109.8, 109.3 for Adam Merchant, now 109.5 in the last lap. Noddy's in that same time period lap times as well too, 109.8. And then so these 3 drivers in the top 3, they're all doing the late, mid to late 109s. The rest of the field are doing 10s or 11s. So there's certainly those 3 that are a class of their own.
Yeah, they are. Fitzsimmons there with a new personal best, actually. It was faster than Amel, but the general trend is that he isn't. Not at the moment, and neither is he faster than Merchant, who was 0.003 of a second quicker than him last time round. That's not going to be making any big dents into any time gap, but it is telling that even on those even laps, Merchant just about has the edge as they... Wonderful camera angle that is, isn't it, through the S's there, just slipping either side of those bollards that you often see in the UK alongside the streets or the countryside roads anyway, that for some reason been put in the middle of this racetrack when it was scanned nearly 20 years ago, so we don't know what that's all about. At the final corner for Merchant, he's still going. We don't often see them running quite this late for the leaders, to be fair.
Well, I mean, maybe just trying to build up a gap as much as possible, because it's now you're down to almost 10 to go, 11 to go now. So it's, you know, if you're going to come back out and fight, you've got to you tend to want to give yourself enough laps to try to get the overtake done. You just want to come out, don't want to come out with 2 laps to go and go, oh well, I'm stuck behind somebody and now, oops, I've got no time left to get the overtakes. So that's interesting. I like how you guys also have, that's Bianchi, I think, going off the track there. He's about to get lapped by Merchant as well. But you guys, I love how you got those little bollards. I have to put an arrow to remind you to keep to the left. I guess because you have a lot of people that come over from other European nations where they drive on the opposite side of the road.
Or indeed not in Europe, where they also drive on the right side of the road. Other than Australia.
Yeah.
The one thing we do have in common.
Yes, sir.
There's lap traffic for Merchant. Might be Yankee, I think, who's just put a lap down there. Looks like him. Yeah. Surprised he's got a lap down, actually. I knew he was a long way off the back in 12th place. Didn't think he was going to go a lap down, though. And well, I suppose he's pitted twice, which doesn't help, but nevertheless, he is now overtaken by Merchant. Last time round, a 9.4 for Merchant. The other two, ML and Fitzsimmons, in the 10s, although, to be fair, Fitzsimmons hasn't gone over the line yet. He just has 9.6, so again, Merchant quicker this time round than second and third place. He's the quickest driver in this field, but has the strategy undone him here, or will Fitzsimmons pit again?
Sanchez comes in. Rolls will get that position. Wonder if Elliott Court is too far back to get this. Get Sanchez. It'll be interesting. John stays out. Robert Nobles comes in. So John still needs to come into pit road. He's going to be slotted up into P5. Sanchez does come out just ahead there of Court. Nobles will drop back behind Nicholas. Maybe even Sajay. Yep. Oh, there's Sajay coming out now. That might be pretty close. Sajay's going to be at full pace here. Just keep your eyes peeled to the left. Nope, he's got him. Both of them did, actually. Jace Meyer as well.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Merchant's in, Noddy's in.
Now then, is Fitzsimmons going to follow them in, or will he carry on, and will we see the final parameters of this final battle? He's carrying on for now. Merchant's already going, though. Fitzsimmons won't be that far in front for a driver who's been bleeding time slowly to the former race leader, Adam Merchant. This could be a big final 9 laps as Adam Merchant re-emerges. Noddy ML does as well. Their pit stop time almost identical. Fitzsimmons now has got a 7-second gap to nurse in the last 9 laps.
This will be very, very interesting game on. Merchant's been practically the quickest driver all race long. John finally goes in from the pit stop. That'll be the last of the drivers. Actually, no, Nicholas is still out there on the start of the race without a pit stop. So this is it. There's Fitzsimmons. 7 seconds down the road is Merchant. And then Noddy's just there in the picture so they can just see each other, which is always an inspiration as a racing driver, isn't it? To be able to hunt down your predator. Your prey, I mean. You're the predator. And then, because, the more that you can actually see the car as you get, the more you can kind of see where you're gaining time and where they're perhaps making mistakes and where you can pounce on them. But when you're driving it all by yourself and you can't see any other cars there, you just basically completely stick into a delta time.
Oh, what a time to put the best lap of the race in. Look at that from Fitzsimmons. He understands the importance of this portion of the race as well. A 109.3. Admittedly, that was only a few hundredths quicker than Merchant, who couldn't respond, of course, because it was an out lap. But nevertheless, what a time to get the fastest lap of the race. And to be honest, when you look at it, 9 laps and 7 seconds is actually a pretty good equation for Fitzsimmons, because you're looking at more than 3/4 of a second a lap you'd have to lose for Merchant to get there. And that's even by the end of the line. That's not even giving himself time to actually make the overtake itself. So, yeah, Fitzsimmons, I think, he's very much got the odds in his favour.
Going off somewhere. Like crab walking?
S's.
No. Definitely going a little too deep in that, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just that weight transfer he's just got wrong, and spins around through the final chicane. There's Fitzsimmons again, 9.4. He is pulling out some laps now when it matters. He has been on those tyres, of course, a long time, and Merchant may well be able to respond, and no. 2 attempts lost that time for Merchant. 7 laps and 7 seconds more than. Fitzsimmons has definitely, as I say, got the odds in his favour.
He is chucking this car. Look at this. This is how you drive. This is how you drive this racetrack, for sure. He's giving it everything. And he doesn't even look like he's using any of that push to pass, that overtake. We don't know how much he has at the moment because he doesn't feel he needs to use it just yet. But
I think he did use some on that outlap there, or the outlap for the others, but and I would guess he's probably not much less than half of his original starting point. I think he'll probably got a lot left, but I think we're at the stage of the race again where everybody's going to wait to the end of the race and just use it all like they normally do.
JT says out there, which is a big bump on that second part of the chicane that easily unsettles a car that we saw earlier as well.
He's in.
He's in. Wow. So that's going to drop him back. Has he got enough to clear Elliott Rolls?
Yeah, he should do, I think. He was third before the stops, and he'll be third again here. So, yeah, I did wonder. He didn't go up on the jacks before Fitzsimmons, but to be fair, he doesn't there either. What's going on here? Well, now he's going. Anyway, he'll be back out onto the circuit, and he'll be comfortably third. So it's going to be ML versus Merchant. Mel gains 19 thousandths of a second that lap. I can't imagine that is going to come into a battle, really.
I was going to say, if he could stay out, if Fitzsimmons could have stayed out and finished that race without having to come to pit road, there would have been a few heads being scratched with between Adam Merchant and Noddy going, why didn't we look at doing that strategy of pitting under the safety car? But obviously that's the case, it did not. Well, it has paid out for Fitzsimmons, of course, for that charge back through the field. No doubt whatsoever through that, isn't it? Finishing in P3 when essentially starting from the back. In this one? After that, getting confused now. Yes, after that spin, that's right. He started further up in the grid, but obviously he had that first lap incident.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a podium at least. He hasn't had too many of those this season, Finley Fitzsimmons, but Adam Merchant certainly has. He's going to win for a 6th time this season. He's the runaway win leader, by the way. 6th win in just 7 starts. It's been an extraordinary run when he has been here, and he's going to see that race at that championship gap from Elliott Court tumbling down. He's going to overtake Noddy ML in the standings as well, even though Noddy's had a pretty decent day himself, finishing 4th and 2nd if this result holds. Adam Merchant is making a real charge to defend his reigning champion status, and you'd have to say, with this gap coming down below 30 points at the end of today, with still 4 rounds to go, you could almost call him favourite even though he's trailing. And Elliott Court's in again here.
Yeah, he came in early too, remember? So...
yeah, but it was under green, so it would have counted, but yeah, he's beaten again.
Not up on the jacks either.
And this is long.
Yeah.
This is a very long stop.
He's still in there. That's a 20-second pit stop so far still for Court. Is that a retirement? So late in this race of 4 laps to go to.
Could be as good as a retirement, to be honest, because it's taken a long time.
Noddy got that down to 3 seconds now, but 3.2 on Merchant. Does he have enough time? There it is. He's got his OT button pushed. And he's got a bit of time. We won't say it specifically on the air how much we lost, but you can read it on his steering wheel. I don't want to do that in case other drivers are listening.
That's all right. I think I get what you're saying. Bianchi and Meyer very close again here as Antonio Bianchi tries to retake some of these positions he's lost. I say he's lost. He's been a bit of a yo-yo in this race. He has been up and down. He's still up 7, as is Jace Meyer so far, but these two battling for the honour of being the biggest gainer forward in this race. And Bianchi would get that if he were able to overtake here. 4 laps to go, including the one that they have just begun, because they are not far off, a lap behind the leaders.
Have you just seen how Antonio he struggles when he gets the power down? It just wants to snap on him consistently. The rear end just wants to get loosey-goosey. He's been struggling with that all race long. So just something perhaps with the setup that he has. It's just not specifically tracksuited.
Oh, he's off!
Yeah.
He's just caught the grass on the way to McLean's. And he is going to have to get going quickly because Isidro is just about there. He is in the background. He's gotten underway quickly enough though. But as you say, that didn't look like a particularly well-balanced car. And Bianchi has gone off and brought a load of gravel onto the circuit.
Yeah, you can just see. Just doesn't feel... I mean, good on him. Look, he's still got plenty of OT in the bank as well. And he's going to have to use that now to try to defend off Nicholas. That's just a couple of seconds down the road from him now. But you don't want to make another mistake at this point. Almost full opposite lock steering on that one. Almost reminds you of Monte Carlo, isn't it? You can get out and walk faster around that corner in Monte Carlo.
A big slide on the exit as well. There's 2 minutes of push to pass remaining for him. You'd imagine he'll just use that until the end now, otherwise he won't be able to use it until the finish. Well, Amel was closing in while he had the push to pass, but he's starting to lose the time again to Adam Merchant. He's back in the 10s again. Well, it's a 12.9. That was a bad lap for Noddy Amel. And Fitzsimmons has got a decent chance here of overtaking him at 109.0. Very, very fast from Fitzsimmons. To be fair, Merchant hasn't used the last of his push to pass. Fitzsimmons is using the last of his now. Expect the next couple of laps to be very, very fast ones for Merchant, as he's now on the penultimate one.
Yeah, I wonder why Noddy got, remember, didn't Noddy get up to about 4 seconds behind? Or am I just not looking at
3.
Yeah, he got up to 3 and he's dropped all the way back down to 9. Now Fitzsimmons on a charge. He knows that he's got 2 laps to pull a miracle out here. Give himself a P2. Anything's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible at this stage. Look at the way he's gaining here. Mel's got trouble. I think Noddy Mel's got big trouble here. The second place man in the championship coming into tonight is about to be third, and he might be about to be third in this race, because into the Melbourne hairpin, Finley Fitzsimmons is really closing in despite his trouble earlier on in the race, where he drops right the way to the back of the field, battling for a position inside the top 5. He's fought his way all the way back up through.
Oh, he's gone to the pits.
ML has to come in.
Oh,
Noddy ML has to pit on the last lap.
I thought he was going so slow. I was just about to say, is he out of gas? And he needs... Because you wouldn't have been dropping that much speed unless you didn't have enough in the tank, mate.
Well, yeah, we've been told in the past that you can't refuel in these cars.
Well, he might be retiring the pit road.
It might not be fuel. He's exiting again now, and Elliot Rolls is on the podium, by the way. Fabian Sanchez is close to getting a 4th position here, but he won't quite over Noddy ML. Saji Duhair sees off Jace Meyer for 6th position as the Canadian, sorry, fatal mistake there. The American goes off the circuit rather in 7th place. But further up front, Adam Merchant is going to win again. What an extraordinary season he's having. Just 7 starts to his name, but 6 wins after tonight, as he takes race 2 as well as 1 in the Lap Zero Finishes Grand Prix, presented by the Lap Zero podcast. It is Adam Merchant who doubles up at Donington as well. He takes the fastest lap to go with it, the first 108 in this session.
Wow.
He takes maximum points from tonight. I can't think of any bonuses he's even missed out on. In fact, Adam Merchant is a real force to be reckoned with in this championship, with ML losing 2 places on the last lap there. He drops to 3rd in the championship, and the title leader, Elliot Court, fails to score a top 10 here in this second race after failing to finish in the top 5 in the first. Adam Merchant is on the march in this League Zero Super Formula Championship.
No, he manages to come back out in P4. Sanchez P5. So why the pit stop for 6 seconds too between Nutty? Has got me a little confused, my friend, but I guess we'll find out when we at least chat to, hopefully, a couple of the drivers. Still got a couple more to finish this race. Topsy-turvy, strange race this one's been.
Yeah, as in some ways. JT, by the way, letting us know that apparently iRacing added refueling to these cars in the last update, so I didn't know about that, but that might be why we've been seeing these stops without tyre changes, and why Fitzsimmons, for example, couldn't make it to the end of the race, etc. Just adding a different dimension to these races, because we are, of course, still fuel limited in this series at 40% of their cars at maximum. So there you go. That clears that one up at the end of the 32 laps. Zuhair seems to retire on the last lap here, but he should still get 8th place as a result. But let's have a look at those results at the end of 32 laps of racing. It's Adam Merchant again with his 6th win of the season. Finley Fitzsimmons recovers to 2nd impressively ahead of Elliot Rolls, who's on the podium as well. Noddy ML drops to 3rd in the championship after falling off the podium on the last moments there. Fabian Sanchez rounds out the top 5, where he finishes both races, in fact. And ML finished 4th in both as well, so a bit of symmetry there. Jace Meyer finishes in 6th, ahead of Antonio Bianchi in 7th. Sazi Zuhair finishes 8th, and Nicholas Isdrome, Robert Nobles. Elliot Court, the last driver to finish, in 11th. He was 1 lap down. John Stumbo retired along with Guillermo Parry, James Turnbull, Gareth McAllister and Xavier Senev, who round out the field. So, yeah, strange couple of races in some ways, Biggles, but I think surprising some in the way that we were able to go racing tonight was better than some people expected, and they were 2 pretty good races.
And with our first safety car of the season. Which is very, very surprising at the very start of that race because of that, a few incidents that we saw. But this is the main one for Fitzsimmons, isn't it? And right here, is where it all went pear-shaped for him, but you can't keep a good old British Bulldog down, can you? Because he fought his way back up to the field there and ended up finishing in P6. At this point, you'd probably go, wow, Jesus, no chance we're going to get a podium now, is there? But don't tell that to Fitzsimmons. And then a second spin just for good measure.
Yeah, he had grass all over his tyres and tried to accelerate round the corner of Coppice, and there was only one way that was going to end. But that's how he dropped so far down. And this is Adam Merchant's start. We'll just interview him in a second after we see this through turn number 1 the first time. He was really aggressive on the start. I had a look at the inside of 3 wide, but decided to wait it out because he knew that he'd get positions on the exit. We'll let that continue to run while we interview the man himself, Adam Merchant, who has won both races tonight from Donington Park. Adam, welcome in. Good to have you with us once again. A double win at Donington Park. It means you've only started one race this season that you haven't won. How was these couple of races here tonight from Donington? A round that some of the guys in YouTube were saying was better racing, better for overtaking than they were expecting. What were you expecting versus what happened in the end?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Great racing today. This track is really hard to overtake on. There's no straight long enough to really sit in the slipstream and get some speed differential unless you just have some good pace out of the corner compared to the car in front. So, I mean, on the feature lap 1, I think Elliott caught behind me. I was in an Elliott sandwich entering the chicane. So threw the push to pass on and got up the inside and somehow made that move stick, which let me catch up to Nani. So yeah, it was really a lot of fun.
How are you viewing this championship now? You've moved up to second place now after this round ahead of Noddy, and you're not that far behind Elliott Court, who's had a bit of a misstep for the second week in a row as well. Even though I don't think you'll be the championship leader, it might be quite close. And are you seeing yourself as the sort of favourite almost as your reigning champion, and you're sort of the one in form at the moment?
I mean, I've put together some good races, but participation is quite important. I definitely missed a few weeks, but if you just took the last 3 rounds, then sure, I could be leader. But I still try to approach each race the same mindset that like anything can happen and just do the best I can, and that's all I can control. Max was down over 100 points in the F1 championship, and look where he is. He's a threat. So anything can happen. Like you said, the rain last week, I think he had a DNF in the feature. So not preying on incidents like that, but just want to do the best I can.
God, don't bring up F1 again in this commentary booth. Goodness me. It's all been happening. Who are you hoping wins?
The F1 championship or this championship?
Well, both. Go both.
Yeah, I obviously want to win. I wouldn't be here if that was if I wanted to lose. But I'll give it to McLaren, one of the 2 drivers. I think I can maximize
which one, mate?
You got to choose one.
Yeah.
Aussie I think Lando could do it. I think the Brit could do it. Yeah, I mean, just recently he's got the pace. Like, sadly, Piastri has been slow for like two of the last rounds.
He's just sandbagging to make it more exciting, mate. That's all he's doing.
I hope so. I wanted to go down to the wire, and I just want some good racing. So that's all I can ask for.
There we go. We're off topic, but that's but that's fun. Ever since Biggles made this an Australia versus England thing, suddenly I've cared. So so now we're battling over this each week, and I'm glad the smile on my face is gradually getting bigger each week we come back. But there we go. Yeah. Long way to go. Anyway, Adam, welcome. Thanks for joining us, I should say, and congrats on the double win tonight. Hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yes, thank you guys. I'll be here next week and looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Adam Merchant, double winner tonight at Donington Park here in the Luxurious Super Formula Championship. Going off track and talking about the F1 again. But what else can you expect from us? To be honest, I don't really, as I said before, I don't actually mind who wins, really. Just to make that clear. As long as we hit the Australians in the Ashes, I'll be fine. That's fine. But that might be even less likely to happen. Anyway, Fitzsimmons is waiting for us as well, patiently, while we're blathering on. Finley, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Congrats on a great recovery in race 2, which we'll start with. We're just seeing your incident again that dropped you all the way down to 15th, it was at the time. What was going through your mind at that point when you spun for a second time through Coppice there on lap 1?
Yeah, I didn't expect the tyres to be that hot, and it was kind of silly to be fair because they were, lap one just had a spin. But after that, we were able to lock in. But it was a bit of a shock. I mean, you never expect to have an incident with your teammate, but we've already talked about it. It's not much of an issue. But luckily, we were able to overcut him in the stops and get the gap out by pitting under the safety car. So yeah, it's a nice comeback, but yeah, it could have been a bit better.
Yeah, did you quite understand the reasons and so on for the safety car? Because we couldn't really see what it was all about there. And I must say, well, I've not been covering this series forever by any means, but I've never seen one in this series before.
No, I think we had one in Road America. That's the only one I can think of. But I think one of the admins accidentally pushed the button when he had a spin on lap 3. So yeah, not his finest moment, but it did end up coming into our favour because, of course, we were able to stop and it brought the field back together again. So, it's a long race here as well, a lot of laps, so we didn't really lose that much time. I'm not going to say anything because it helped me.
Yeah, no. Absolutely, that's all fine. These things happen. I've done it myself. In terms of the races this season, I mean, I was saying when you were having your spin in race 2 that you've just been having the worst luck this season. Mm-hmm. One race win to your name, of course, but no point score on any round above sort of 17. And to give you an idea, obviously, well, for everyone at home, the idea maximum is just over 40 in this series per round. But how pleased are you to sort of, I'd say, get back on track because obviously you want to continue this on now. But how pleased are you to have sort of a decent couple of races in one night?
Yeah, it's nice to finish both races, but I mean we're reviewed every time, and yeah, we've just had the wrong end of the stick, really. I mean, we haven't made mistakes, really, that have caused us to crash out of the feature race. It's more just been, we're wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, it's obviously nice to finish some races again, and I feel like we can carry this momentum. But yeah, it's nice after being wrecked 3 weeks in a row.
Well, I'm sure it is. Congratulations on the recovery, Finley, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thank you very much. Nice catching up.
Thanks so much. That's Finley Fitzsimmons, who finishes second in race 2 tonight, ahead of Elliot Rawls, who has had time to pop himself into the waiting room as well while we've been chatting. Elliot, welcome in. Good to have you with us as well. Third place in race 2 and race 1. Across the board tonight, but pretty anonymous, I've got to say, from our cameras. First of all, how was race number 2, the longer race tonight? Just seemingly, it seemed to us anyway, you were just staying out of trouble there, really.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a bit of a contact with my teammate. It was netcode, but still, it was my fault. And then, yeah, coming on to the restart, I had a absolutely beautiful battle with, what's his name, Fabian? Yeah, I had a great battle with him. A lot of fun. Most fun I've had in a race in a while. Yeah, I was just staying out of trouble, doing my laps. Yeah, it was a great race altogether.
It's how to get podiums. Certainly a double podium for you tonight. How did you find that battle, by the way, in those that you had at this circuit? Because we had a lot of preview this week about this circuit and we just heard it from Adam there after the race as well, about how this circuit is sort of, lacking that real long straight to make battles easy. But the battles were nevertheless pretty good across the field. Is that how you found it as well?
Yeah, that's about how I found it. I personally liked it a lot since, you couldn't just whack the button, fly right by someone. There's a bit more strategy behind everything. Yeah, I was a big fan of it personally, but yeah, it does definitely mean there's less overtakes in general.
I know what you mean, definitely. Of course, next week we're going to be returning to those more sort of Grand Prix style racetracks, a bit of a longer lap at the Hockenheimring next week. Are you going to be there, and how are you looking forward to going around there?
Yeah, I always liked the Hockenheimring. It's a lot of fun. Nice wee track. Performed well there in the past. In LZ. Granted, that was in the Super Formula Light, but yeah, I've still performed well there. I like the track. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, look forward to seeing you there, of course, and we'll hopefully catch up in 1 week. But for now, congrats on a double podium tonight.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thanks so much.
See you all next week.
Yep, see you next week. Elliot Rawls, third place twice tonight in the League Zero Super Formula Championship from Donington Park. I think the overwhelming reception, Biggles, is that people were pleasantly surprised. And to be fair, I actually understand Elliot's point there about the fact that sometimes in some of the tracks this season, we've just seen them able to put the push to pass on and just go straight through. But that wasn't an option tonight, and it maybe even improved things a little bit.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Because you didn't have that, as you said, no massive long straights to really get enough time to get the slipstream there and just sling out there and kind of easily just get yourself in that position to hit the brakes, hit the anchors, and then sneak on ahead of them. So difficult to overtake, but obviously Fitzsimmons did a great job of overtaking a lot of those drivers to get through there. So that's the Heat 1 results that are up on your screen in a very surprising race, an enjoyable one at that. And then, of course, in our feature race, as you said, Elliot Rolls gets the third and the third. And the Fitzsimmons, of course, and Merchants, the same results, isn't it, for the feature race between them two on the top three?
Yeah, very similar.
Going back at that little replay that we had a look at, they did mention the netcode. It did actually look like there may be a bit of netcode involved because they weren't that crazy close. And, of course, that just tends to happen when you've got drivers from all over the world here in this grid too. So you can imagine you've got little bits of packet losses that occur and of course, the little, what do you call it? A guesstimator kind of thing. It's not AI, but it guesstimates where the car's going to be, isn't it? And then and does that. You see that all along. There's not too much you can do about that unless you have everybody in the LAN network.
Yeah, and even then it can be a little bit weird sometimes too. So you just never know. It's just one of those things. But there you have it. That's just about it from us here tonight in the League Zero Super Formula Championship from Donington Park. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in. Of course, as normal, we'll be back next week, same time, same place, from the Hockenheimring for another 2-race night, 10-lap sprint followed by a 30-lap feature. And by the way, in both races, as you say tonight, the top 5 were exactly the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I wonder how many times that's happened in the course of the history of the League Zero Super Formula Championship. Of course, there are tens of seasons to go through, so it may well have happened before. But there you go, another little bit of an oddity from tonight. See if we get any more of those next week at the Hockenheim. So tune in again. We look forward to it. But this has been the Lap Zero Finishers Grand Prix presented by the Lap Zero podcast here at Donington Park. We'll be back next week from the Hockenheimring, as I say. But for myself, Ewan Leary, Team Biggles alongside me, it's goodbye from Donington. We'll see you again in 1 week's time. Goodbye for now.